Okay, forgive my kitchen. Everything's kind of a mess. I've got this guy. Okay, so my little sister will recognize this and this and probably not that. So this is yet another of the many, many, many. My daughter's third grade teacher, who's a client of mine, gave me so many of these snake plants. So this is like the one in the bathroom corner. And they don't want direct sunlight. It's weird. So I've got one here, and it's in its inner pot because they also are like succulents. They do not want a ton of water. I put a couple drops directly on the leaves. Not a couple drops, but very little. Maybe a couple tablespoons, maybe not even, in this size. The one in the bathroom only gets like a tablespoon. And then this guy has a lot of bark in him, at least on the top. And he's in this really cool old pot that I love so much that came from my garage. It was here along with my fun old kitchen sink with the drain board, which is full of dishes. It did not have this cool thing, and then I got some of this, put it on the back, and then also you can see the handles that were on the cabinets in there. And this was just sitting in the garage inside that back kitchen area. That was terrible, but I think that's what I remember. Maybe it was outside. Anyway, came with the property. This was my youngest sister's aloe baby that was growing, I think. I think I got like a bunch of little babies out of it. There was like 2 babies and this ginormous, healthy, dark green, huge, spiraling up the window and then cascading over and falling over. And one time my daughter was here after my sister moved, and she saw it on the windowsill and she was like, "Mom, please repot that thing. That thing is root bound and it's dying." And I was like, "It doesn't look like it's dying." And she said, "I work at a nursery and that's making me mad." So I eventually did repot it. And it started to die, and then I learned that you can't just repot it. When I tried to repot it, I learned that you could actually separate it out and make multiples out of it, which I tried to do, and most of them died or started to die again because I didn't know anything about. Well, I thought I had done the right thing because I put them in the I dried them out the same way I did the jades, but not in the sun, and they still, I think they just had the wrong dirt, or the pot was, I don't know. I bleached the pots first, so I don't know what the heck. So here's a jade in the little incense burner. Has a hole in the bottom, so it fits better on there now. And again, this is a little baby from the origins of hers. And she can have that one back, or she can have any of the others, or many of the others. And here is the mama of the one in the bathroom. They were alongside of each other, or maybe it's the baby. I can't remember. Anyway, they were alongside of each other in the pot, and I repotted them so that there are now 2. And I don't see that it's growing babies. It's just growing maybe a new leaf. But if it's anything like this one, eventually it'll have too many. I don't know if the third grade teacher was doing the thing with fertilizer with the snake plants or what, but there were too many and she hated them, and so I took 2 ginormous pots full of them, and I think I had like 15. And some of them I doubled up. I had 15 pots, gave them to a bunch of people, and I now have still more than I need. I don't know that you can ever have too many snake plants because they're great for, what's it called? Air, removing toxins from the air. And so I'm told. Anyway, excuse the dirty dishes. Over here we have a very tall monstera who's got a couple of fenestrations and just lost a leaf down at the bottom and a leaf at the top in the last couple months whenever I was doing the bad thing with overwatering because I didn't understand. And you can see how it has quite the air root that has grown in the last month since the temperature changed back in the house to normal. And I've adjusted it a couple of different times. That's bad lighting. I've adjusted it a couple of different times to live on its happy little Can you please focus? No, we're not going to focus. Okay, so again, this is a good example of what happens. It had a leaf over here, over here, and it got killed partly because it kept getting brushed against when people would come visit, and somebody with a kid kept putting it up against the wall on the shelf, and then the one on the top, the same thing, and then it would turn yellow once it got brushed against, kind of like the one in the bathroom it got brushed against, but it also was overwatered. You can see the soil is that same stuff I was saying in the bathroom. It's like, it's got charcoal, it's got rocks at the bottom, perlite. It's pretty dry because if you put your finger or your skewer, this is a knitting needle, if you put your skewer all the way down in the soil to check to see how wet it is, you'll notice that these guys like tend to hold on to their moisture at the bottom, and that's how they end up with root rot, and then they end up yellowing at the bottom, which is what started to happen this winter. You can still see this guy has a little bit of yellow on his lower leaf. So that was like the third one he was trying to lose. And then here, I don't know if you can see it. So the great thing you can see on this one, again with the bad lighting, the great thing you can see on this one is, let's do this, maybe that's better, how all the leaves go toward the sun, because I eventually learned not to, well, partly because a couple of the leaves fell off on this side. But if you leave it in the same direction, it'll go toward the sun. So if it was in the opposite corner of the room and not, this is the side of the house that gets no direct sun. Like, it'll never have sun on this side of the house. It'll just be in the summertime, the heat of the summer, the peak. It'll be like the shadow of the house will be right here instead of out there. So it's got indirect sun, and it can do this in the window, but if it was a direct sun, then you put it on the opposite side of the room like I did in the bathroom. That little one in the bathroom window is going to be moved soon, as soon as most of these go to their forever home, which maybe my sister will want some of. And then over here, whoops, I've got this gizmo, which I think this guy came from my sister. I don't know. I honestly don't remember where it came from, but I love it. Partly because it's just weird and spiky. And I have a similar one in, I mean, not similar, similar in the fact that it's like, it looks like a palm tree kind of a thing. It looks like it belongs in that kind of environment. You can see under here how his roots are like, whatever that is. And I didn't do much when I repotted him. I just put him in a different pot and goofed with, I think I added dirt because it was a bigger pot, and made sure the roots were good and tried to add dirt up to cover this, but obviously it has receded again. I don't yet understand, because I haven't taken the time to, why it does this browning. Every once in a while I will cut, you can see where I've cut some of them off. Cut the brown bits off, and then I don't know if it's because I water too much, too little, but you can see it has a translucent edge. What's the deal? Has a translucent edge to, focus please. No, you can't see it. Why? Okay, we're gonna try again. It has a translucent and then red edge to the leaves. Okay, we're just not gonna focus. It's fine. This is my poinsettia that I've had for 2 years. Came from Christmas, was all red, and then of course the red bits died, and everybody was like, it's gonna die. I don't love it in this pot because I keep thinking it's gonna die. I don't bother. But it stayed alive. It has new growth. Whoopsie, hi. It has new growth right here. It gets all these new growth areas. Eventually I will take the time, which I have not on this one or this one, to research what it needs in order to thrive better than this. But for now, it just lives in this macrame hanger that I made recently. I think I did that at Christmas time. Up here, this is a pot from my sister, and had, I think it might have had a succulent in it. Maybe a jade, I don't know. Anyway, Nothing was thriving in there. I put the aloe in there, the big one that was in the windowsill over by the kitchen. And after I dried it out, the biggest part of it I put in there, and it started to die again. And so I took it out and let it dry out on the bookshelf because it started to do this. You can see, here it is. This is not the best lighting either. Yesterday's was better. It started to do this moldy, wilty looking thing. It was really limp and nasty. So I left it on the bookshelf to dry out, and it started to throw its own babies, and eventually I just let it go in the dirt, and whatever babies wanted to survive, they were going to survive. I think this pot came from my sister too. And it has survived and thrived, but it's like its babies are not like attached to anything. It's like barely attached. It's like it wants you to take the babies away. It's like the babies want to go somewhere else. All of them are like that. So this is one that I know that I don't think that my sister needs any more aloe because she's got a massive aloe from a neighbor. But if she wants any of this, or if her kids want to take any of this and grow a baby aloe, I bet if you took these little bits and put them somewhere, you'd have a bunch. It's weird because they're like all babies. They're not like the big thrivey ones. Especially since it came from that one that was like super thick and like Grandma used to do. Grandma used to have these perfect thick aloes that were like when you cut them, you knew you were getting all the good juice. These are like, I mean, I guess they're like spring green. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or maybe I'm not doing anything wrong, but they're like, hey, propagation time. And that has been that way for the last year. I neglected them because didn't like my attention. And then they were thriving, and so I just put them in here, and basically, like, I think I water them maybe, like, it's got to be, like, 2 teaspoons every week, once a week, and sometimes even less. So that's that.